Hey guys, I'm your host David Fenter. Welcome to the Gamers Den. Today we're going to be discussing how Jared is a dick and needs to move out.
That's a good thing, Jared. We're teaching it. We're teaching it. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Anyway, we're discussing the Shadow of Mordor because at the end of the day, it's a game that's kind of it's under the radar. We discussed it in our last episode, and we want to give it a little bit more oomph behind it. Garth, you've actually look at that. What could that be?
Garth might have played it already.
Garth, you actually went to the developers where that came from, and you got quite a bit of time with the game.
Yeah, they showcased several levels for us with the creative director Michael DePlato discussing what they were doing, how they came about it, and stuff like that. And afterwards, I was chatting with the guy, and I was worried when I was traveling over. I'm like, this is going to be some kind of movie tie-in rubbish game, and I'm going to hate this, you know.
Movie tie-in rubbish? What's that?
You've never played any of those?
No, they're all good.
They're all good.
Hey, best games
ever.
They're the best.
And I get there, and there's this twinkle in the guy's eye, and he starts mentioning things like the Maya, the Valar, talking about where, like, the fact that we all know Sauron, badass, necromancer, whatever. We all know about him, but we don't know where he came from or anything like that. And they want to really show how he became this character instead of just like, oh, I'm the big bad kind of thing, or I'm an eye in a tower. They wanted to give him depth because Tolkien had written a whole bunch about like who this guy is, where he comes from.
What was the book called?
Like that. Well, the collection of stuff is the Silmarillion.
Yeah.
And the Warner Bros. Has really gone and taken the whole of Tolkien's Legendarium, which is like the collection of all his works, and they've researched everything, and they've worked out how to fit this story into his story because it's brand new territory. It's not, it's not retelling a book again, because we've had that before, and
so the guys
we've
are
seen
fans.
movies
They're
like that.
fans
So,
of.
yeah, these guys are fans. They love it. I mean, there was a point that he was talking, and then I had to write a few more interview questions, and I'm like, quickly hop on Wikipedia and like read what the hell they're talking about, because I'm like, I don't know that. It's like, who is that? It's like, really, and they were so cool because like back then I was chatting with them, and I'm like, who's the Wraith and why is he so powerful? And they're like, no, they can't tell me. They'll reveal it later.
No.
And they have spoiled that.
Now everyone knows.
Now everyone knows. And they said it would make sense, and when they did, it's like, go read about the character, and it's like, makes so much sense, because of like the guy's connection to Sauron. It's probably like
Are we going to spill them beans right here?
Yeah, I think. Okay, so we all know that Talion has a wraith that's joined with him when he died and brought him back, right? So the wraith, when he starts, has no memories. He just knows that he has this thirst for vengeance. So it's a bit of a Talion's on a mission of vengeance for his family in the town that was destroyed, and the Wraith is looking for who the hell he is, and he eventually will discover in the game, so spoiler alert, that he is Celebrimborn. And this guy is the guy that forged the original Rings of Power, and he was tricked into forging the rings.
Like tapping. He's like, no, I'm still here.
I'm trying not to listen too much.
So Sauron in the Silmarillion, he actually disguised himself and went to this guy, and he said, I want you to make these rings. And then while he was making the rings, he went away and made the one ring and corrupted all of the rings except the 3 secret ones that were made for the elves, because this guy thought there's something dodgy about this. And the story goes that he died because of the grief because he had made these rings that were now corrupting all the humans and all the dwarves. And because Sauron discovered the 3 secret rings, he made the Great War of the Elves versus Sauron, which kind of decimated his whole homeland. And he was a lord there. He was like the last of a line of kings from that age. So
sounds like a hero to me.
Hero!
So that's the kind of detail that they've gone into. They've like gone and looked at like where Sauron came from, what his path was,
so we're in
and
depth
stuff
the
like
subject matter.
Yeah, so they're using characters and they're using magic in a way that it makes sense, because if you watch the Lord of the Rings or whatever, you'll see it's actually a very low magic setting. There are 5 wizards, that's it. There's no like, big magic. There's a few magical swords, and those are the things that legends come from. So if you have Talion and suddenly he's firing magic spells and what have you, they didn't want to create that, and they said that they wanted to almost create a what if scenario of what would happen if someone with the knowledge of the rings that could control magic got one of those rings now, that without it being influenced by Sauron, because that's like when Galadriel almost takes the ring from Frodo. There's that moment of like, she wants to take it because she knows that with that ring she could go toe to toe with Sauron. So they had to bring in characters that could potentially go toe to toe with him, because he's not human, he's way beyond human. He's even beyond Gandalf. Like when he's a necromancer, you see them fight and like he wins. It's that kind of power that
I'm sitting here like a 5-year-old listening to a story. I think it's like, wow.
But that's the thing is, he was sitting there with me and telling me a story, and it was just flowing out these little bits, and you can see the sparkle in his eye, like because I caught on. I'm like, oh, you mean this? And he like clicked, oh, you know this as well, blah blah blah,
and then he goes, awesome. No, but I mean, look, the one thing that's happened with this game, and it happened very early on, is that it was compared to Assassin's Creed, the style that it was
Even Batman.
Batman, the combat and so forth.
System, yeah.
I mean, Jared, it's unfortunate that it's happened, but it's actually very unique in its own sense.
Yeah, look, I was a big fan of the Assassin's Creed game, especially the first one. Even though it was a little bit.
Just the first one.
Yeah.
Well, I
like hunting for flags.
I like the second one.
Assassin's Creed game.
No, because I've only played the first 2, and
Okay.
I actually love them both. I just haven't had sort of the time and patience to play more. So I really enjoyed them. So if they've got gameplay elements from that, I've got no complaints. And as David says, from Batman, I'll be really happy. But my biggest concern with it is the developers that are working on it aren't exactly, don't have the best pedigree.
No faith.
Their stuff has.
You're a non-believer.
That's something to believe in. So I can understand why it's sort of not on everyone's radar.
No.
It's because of that. It doesn't have a big name attached to it, which isn't a reason not to look for it. But I think that is a reason why people aren't. And also because I haven't seen a lot of the gameplay elements. I've seen bits and pieces here and there.
Do you think they released it too little? They're not harping enough from their side?
Well, maybe so. And from that, like when I've seen the trailers, I'm thinking this looks so cool because of reasons Garth has just explained around the story. And I love Lord of the Rings, but then I look at it and I'm thinking, I haven't seen a whole lot of the gameplay. And is this game going to be super boring to play? Because the story
why they're not showing that to us?
The story can only carry me so far.
Yeah.
They have.
They've shown.
But
how much of the gameplay have you like?
just recently a lot's been released.
I've probably seen about three hours of gameplay.
No, but gameplay in terms of what? Have you seen like actual missions?
Yeah, I've seen guys do missions.
Yeah,
I've seen guys
I haven't seen
Nemesis
actual missions
system.
that the Nemesis system looks amazing.
Yeah,
but the actual missions, I've like looked at. I haven't seen 3 hours of it. I've only seen a bit, and I've watched them like. It kind of looks a little bit ordinary from that point of view. I might be completely wrong.
Okay.
I hope I am because I'm really excited for it,
Yeah.
and I do love the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah.
That's my one concern.
David, on your side, I mean, David's like a glorified Lord of the Rings
Don't
fanatic.
get the swords
You know.
for you.
Um,
I'm very excited. Obviously, I love the source material, and I love all the origin stuff that's built in there as well. But I've watched a lot of gameplay, and the one thing that always gets me excited about a game is if a developer's not scared to say, listen, here's a live stream of an hour of raw gameplay. Go check it out. A lot of guys.
to me, they're not hiding anything.
They're not hiding. They're like, this is the game. We're gonna play live. Here's a Twitch stream or whatever, and they've done that on so many occasions because they know they've got a good game. Well, I hope they got a good game, but they're just showing so much gameplay, and like especially the Nemesis system, like you're saying.
That thing. That looks amazing.
it really does look. It's like something I haven't seen in the game before.
Yeah, very.
I mean, the example, there was a Twitch stream about I think a week ago. I don't know if you caught it, Carl. But he literally went up to this little orc, this like no one, like just grunt with an axe, and this guy killed him, and he obviously like leveled up in the ranks with the other orcs, and then you see him like standing there like with all the other guys, and he's obviously like a little peon in the front. But as he gets high up the ranks, and like you, I don't know if you mentioned the like dominating the guy, that you can actually create guys, bring them to your side, and eventually this guy that was playing on the stream had like all the hierarchy guys on his side. And the guy asked the question, like, what if you make all the main guys your guys? Like, what, you know, is there any limitation to how many guys you can convert to your side? It's like, no, you can just do whatever you want. So I mean, from that point of view, that's something that I've never seen in a game before. So I think that's going to make some interesting gameplay.
Yeah.
That's for me where it's 50-50, and I'll remind Garth here of Dragon's Dogma, which also had a very unique system in terms of what was it? Do you remember what it was called?
The pawns.
The pawn system,
Yeah.
and that just bombed.
what was the point system?
Garth can speak his love.
So, the idea was that they watched you and they learned how to play, and they'd watch your friends or other people on the internet and learn how to play.
Sounds
You know what I find interesting?
The way
It's
it's described before was
the third
such a
time
cool
Garth is on the show, and it's the third time he's talking about
Dragon's Dogma. We'll leave it there. But I'm saying that's my one concern, is because something new is awesome, so long as it works.
Yeah. So guys, look, I mean, what's your thoughts on Shadow of Mordor? It's actually a really good looking game, and it's from Warner Brothers. They've not let us down to this point. It's yes, they're the publishers, but they won't put their money behind them for no reason. Something new on the show quickly. We're going to be doing every show from now on. We are going to look at a random game you should be playing. So what I'm going to do...
Darv is a little bit obsessed with
is I'm going to go in the back here to David's stash. No. You have to play Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 this week.
I'm okay with that.
Tell us about it. Cool guys.
Well picked.
See you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Yes.